Welcome to, I'm just gonna call this shit Conspiracy Corner, because I just made this stuff right now.
If you do this in public, we'll know. We'll know.
Yeah.
Conspiracy Corner.
Or you could be doing
We're an exclusive group of mixed match people that are interested in deeper conversations get together and talk about conspiracies, baby. None of this shit could be real, or it could be fake, or it could, I don't know, who knows?
Or it could just be a lot of fun to talk about.
A lot of fun to talk about.
You know what I love about having a specific format for it is that when we bring it up in normal JK News episodes, if you just by bringing it up, people are like, "You believe in that shit?" It's like, no, we just like to explore it. So this is a place where we can explore.
I believe in this shit.
Argument very hard for things that I do not care about.
Same.
It's my favorite thing in the world.
I mean, that's what you learn in debate, right? Is to argue for and against something, but usually I'm arguing for things that you shouldn't argue for.
Do you ever get to that point where you know you're wrong, but you keep arguing because you've been arguing so long?
Yeah. Now you just gotta win.
Now? Yeah.
That sounds like I'm just arguing with my wife. Thank you. No, today we're going to talk about the flat Earth and why it's 100% real.
And
why it's not ridiculous.
And why the government has been covering it up this entire
Not just the
time.
government, the world government, bro.
Yeah, the world
Have you
government.
seen that documentary on Netflix about the flat Earth community?
No,
Yes.
I haven't seen it.
Yes.
I haven't.
I saw how they were portrayed.
Yeah, exactly. I felt like it was so biased because I was like, I gotta hear out the other side. So I went and looked up all that guy's videos, that guy that they were like following for the majority of it, like the leader guy. I looked up all of his YouTube videos. First of all, YouTube really like covers them.
Yeah.
Like his videos were like, it took a while. I had to type in exact titles and it was
Why
still
are they
like
covering them?
right. It only makes it sound like why are you giving legitimacy to that guy if you think that it's, by covering it. Anyway, after watching all the videos, that documentary was dead right, but I wish they would have presented.
Okay, for those of you who don't know what flat Earth is, right? Flat Earth is the idea that our entire world is flat, just like Columbus and all them thought. And basically, there's like a big ice wall at the edge of our circular Earth, right? Our circular flat Earth. There's a giant ice wall that keeps us from leaving.
We're just a pancake like spinning through the fucking...
Well, it's not a pancake. It's like a
It's like a snow globe.
So there's a globe, right? A dome.
Yeah.
And that's why you can fly airplanes. But if you notice, airplanes never go over the North or South Pole.
It does.
No, they don't.
Actually, I mean, okay.
You know why? Because a flight pass, they determine them unsafe in case of an emergency landing.
That's what they say.
Right. That's the bullshit.
You go pretty darn close. So when I was flying, the first time I went,
When you
like,
go to
overseas,
Japan, it's very close.
yeah, Japan too. I went to Sweden was the first time I went out of the country. And I was looking at the lady was next to me. She was like, "Why is it that we're like flying over Canada? We should just go straight like that." I'm like, "Oh, that's because the Earth, because it's a globe. It's faster travel if you go on the smallest, trajectory, which is if you're on the poles, it's a shorter distance than if you try to go around the equator.
Right.
So it's like that's the reason why we're going up. That's why it looks like we're doing this curvature because the world is curved. And so like whenever I like hear a flat Earther, I'm like tell them that I'm like, no, it's.
But then the North Pole is actually in the middle, so it's flat. So they can go over the North Pole, but then the South Pole,
But they don't.
because that's the Arctic.
Yes, I never traveled south, so I can't.
Why
say.
don't we go from Portland to Japan right over the fucking top of the globe? If it's a fucking globe.
Well, some people say that we do, but they don't show you that on the flight pattern. That they
To not freak you out?
Yeah, like
that you're over ice?
like how did it take such a short amount of time? And people are like, that's because we went this way instead of that way.
Can you imagine how sick it would be? Out the window to your left is the North fucking Pole.
I know, right?
there.
That's so gangster, dude. That'd be so sick.
So what about when I go on Google Earth and then you go back?
Because it's a...
It's composite. It's a composite image. So if you actually like, people have zoomed in and that you can't get an entire picture of the globe. There's like pieces where it's copy pasted to be round because it's composite images. So there's spots where it misses.
What about when you could do live feeds on the satellite camera and then it's going around?
Yeah, so it goes around like it can't fit the whole Earth in it. I don't know.
I don't know. Wait, but then
I don't know.
what about the times? Like the amount of sunlight that you get? Because like I think in wintertime up north from us, it's like the sun is a lot longer out there.
Yeah, because the axis changes, so then...
Yeah, because we're not actually perfectly aligned. We're actually at a tilt.
How do flat earthers explain that?
I'm sure there's an explanation.
They don't deny any tilt. They just deny that we're an orb. Yeah. So like there's still like a plane and it can still tilt. I don't know where they think that we are though. Like,
Right.
Like where is the plane resting? Is it in space?
Giant
The
turtle.
sun's spinning around us, right?
A lion turtle.
Well, I mean, we orbit around
They
it.
think it's like a light. that gets turned on.
Like it goes up.
Like that?
Yeah, like it's part of like the inner filament that like it's like a mobile.
Oh, so they believe the sun orbits around Earth?
Yeah.
Versus Earth
Oh
orbiting
no, they
around
still have that mentality.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
They think that the sun is a construct.
Yeah.
God.
But out of all
Like
the
a stage light.
conspiracies, why would the world government or anyone go to the length to
Yeah,
cover
that
this?
too, that
It's
too.
a fucking difference between a sphere and a flat.
But
Can I
also,
explain
it's
to you?
observable. The sun is an orb. The moon, orb. If you look at the planets, they're orbs. Those are all flat too.
flat discs?
Those are all flat too. Oh, they're all flat discs. Okay.
Yeah, they're
okay.
flat
If you guys would follow the fucking money, you could actually unravel this conspiracy. So big globes. Like think about every classroom when you were growing up. There's a fucking
Globes. Okay.
So those guys are rich.
Those guys are fucking crushing it, dude.
They had to put Big Atlas out of business.
Yeah, the big Atlas company, the big globe businesses would be fucked.
Math
Guess who
companies?
owns YouTube? Who is suppressing the flat earthers?
Who?
Google.
Google Earth.
Google Earth.
They don't want that getting out.
No.
They don't want that getting out. Oh shit! I can understand how they can be this way.
Follow the money, Antoine.
Oh my god, follow the money.
But what about NASA?
So there's a religious sect that thinks that the orb thing is so that people believe more in science than religion, and like they want everyone, like the world wants everybody to think that they're insignificant, so that they don't like.
Yeah, there's no way that science and religion could ever.
Well, no, the idea though is that if the more that you understand about our world through science, the more you understand how small all of us are and how insignificant we are. Whereas the part of the flat Earth movement is about how
Special
we're
we are?
special, we're all special and dope and sick.
That's the stupidest
And
shit
we're
I've ever
central.
heard.
We are all sick. We are all tight. We are all dope.
I know it's so stupid because only like some of us are special.
Yep.
No, that's totally true. That's
The ones that
valid.
believe in the flat Earth are special. They're very special.
You know what? Even though you might not like how the way that I think, that I like the way that you think.
Is that true?
Speaking of that, I recently heard of this thing in Scandinavian culture called Jantel Lovin or some shit like that.
Gentle loving.
Gentle, yeah.
Please explain.
Okay, I probably didn't say it right, but it's like Gentle Lovin or some shit like that.
I never even heard it.
Okay, so I read this shit, right? I gotta pull this up. Okay, but it's basically it's in their they preach this in their culture, and I've noticed that Swedish people are like really fucking sweet and
Yeah, they
humble
are.
and nice, and so it's like it's kind of taught in school at an early age, and there's these rules to kind of live by, and you know how we're just talking about we all think we're special. That's an American thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We're like you're so special, you're unique, and all this shit, right? So here's the 10 steps to fucking Jantelovin. Jantelovin.
Genital loving.
Number 1, you're not to think you are anything special. Number 2, you're not to think you are as good as we are. Number 3,
Who's the
you're
we?
I think the community.
Oh.
You're not to think you are smarter than we are. Number 4, you're not to imagine yourself better than we are.
Is this communism?
Number 5, you're not to think you know more than we do.
This is just reverse Mr. Rogers.
Number 6, you're not to think you are more important than we are. Number 7, you're not to think you are good at anything. Number 8, you're not to laugh at us.
It
Number
was just my
9,
dad.
you're not to think anyone cares about you.
Oh my god.
Number 10, you're not to think you can teach us anything.
Dude, in Russia, this is what Mr. Rogers told me.
Sounds like some fucking 10 steps to be depressed.
Yeah, that's like the opposite. Because I do.
That's so opposite to American culture.
Yeah, that is. But I actually do think that we do put too much credence, like, oh, everyone's special or whatever. Everybody, you can be a president. Everybody, you can be like the best thing. It's like, stay in your lane. Go to trade school. You know what I mean?
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there really isn't.
But we raised some crazy egotistical narcissists
Right.
in America because of this lack of humility
Yeah.
and being humble.
Well, that started in the 80s. So I was reading this study how like they were doing studies on kids and how they ended up in different career fields. So like how did CEOs end up being CEOs, and like how come some people get successful, some people don't? And it came down to like they're like, oh, self-esteem and self-confidence in childhood is a big factor into whether or not they become successful. So in their minds, they're like, what if we start teaching the kids at a very young age that everyone is special, everyone had like build their self-esteem early, and then they hadn't seen the repercussions of it until now.
Yeah.
And so now we're starting to see like that people are like kind of becoming apathetic and indifferent to like and complacent because they don't see the difference between true success and like a fake success. So it's very interesting because like back before then, like the Depression era, all of that, there was still like you work hard, you keep your head down, you did it. There wasn't like a lot of you're special, you're special, you're special. But then the kids that were raised like throughout the 90s and stuff, they started implementing this. Like, everybody gets a participation award, and then
My dad really hated it. He was like, participation awards is fucking stupid. I was like,
Me too.
and as a kid, I was like, why? I got a trophy, and he's like, no, it's dumb.
It's not a real trophy, man.
I couldn't understand it until
I agree.
It is kind of dumb.
It's like when someone lets you win.
Yeah,
I didn't like
There's
that.
no satisfaction in that.
There's no work.
There's no overcoming
It felt like a pity
obstacles
award.
or advertising.
You know what it really is? What's that Einstein quote where he says like, if you try to teach or tell a fish that it can't climb a tree, you're dumb, like that kind of thing. It's about everyone has different kinds of intellect or different kinds of talent.
Yeah, and that's my whole thing too. Is that like I don't think everybody needs to be a fucking astronaut.
No.
Like, they always told you like, oh, you could be an astronaut if you want to.
lawyer.
You probably don't want to be. Like some of this stuff fucking sucks. Like you know, you probably are not good
Does
at
everyone
it.
want to be a CEO?
It's like there's only a very few amount of people that have that kind of fucking like narcissism or whatever that can function in that
I'll
environment.
tell you why. Because and it's a lot to do also when like people get weird and think emotions are weak because they're like there's such an emphasis on logic and math and science being smart. Like that's the smart. Those are the smart fields. Where if you like let's say have high emotional intelligence and you're really good at helping other people, like things like that. Yeah, it's valued very low when you're in school. Maybe later you could take psychology and like explore that field. But like in school, they're very like math, science, logic. They're very
Those are easy to like rubric and grade and like kind of like break down and stuff like
They
that.
can control you that way because I mean, for
Some
example,
people think they're dumb, and then they go, "Oh, I can't ever be successful." And then
if you're a kid right now and you think that Steve Green's full of shit because he believes in flat Earth, 100% believes in flat Earth, try this experiment. Go to your teacher tomorrow. Tell them that show them a picture of the Earth or of the map that you have in your classroom. Tell them that it's complete horseshit and you think it's bullshit. Guess what happens next? You go to the principal's office. Why do you go to the principal's office? For reprogramming so that they can get you back under their fucking scheme.
I believe that shit. I believe that.
Hey, oh, by the way, you think Steve, okay, you're still listening to me. You're like, Steve Green's full of shit because he 100% believes in flat earth theory. Okay, guess what? Try opening a map store. Try opening an almanac store. You're not going to be in business for very long.
stay woke.
Yeah, stay woke.
It's the hardest thing to do right now is open up an almanac store or a map store.
I love the kid that actually goes through with this and then they don't send him to the principal's office and then his whole worldview just explodes.
I like how that's the reason why it's hard. Not that there's the internet. Like
Try opening a map store. Try opening an almanac.
A Christian bookstore has more opportunity than a freaking map store.
Exactly, because big almanacs and big globes will crush you. They will fucking crush you out of existence.
Who is Big Almanac?
Excuse me?
Who is Big Almanac?
Nobody knows.
Oh, okay.
Big globe.
The man.
That's my favorite.
There is no logo.
Follow the money.
Conspiracy time. Conspiracy.
Hey, if you do this to us in public and you wink like this, we'll know what you mean.
Yeah.